All right, we're out here with Dave Davis. We're going to talk about one of my personal favorites, the Barrett 50 cal. I love this gun. I got a lot of time behind it overseas. I'm here to tell you, this thing it's a work of art. Dave, tell us about this. Break it down for me.
First of all, if you don't have the market corner there, I love this gun. I fired the first one of these guns, Mr. Ronnie Barrett standing over my shoulder, getting ready for Desert Storm. And I've shot it many, many times in many different locations since then. Love this gun. You know, fighting in the Middle East, our vehicles are platforms. You can't venture too far from them. But you can take this gun, run to the roof of a house, and now you have basically anti-vehicle and light skin armored capability at your fingertips. Love this gun. A 50 cal, the ammo is all over the battlefield, NATO standard as well as ours. You can always get it. Love this gun. Man portable, we just spoke, jumpable. Collapse this thing down, 2 pins, drop it in a modified 1950.
Size, yep.
Come out of the bird, lower that sucker, drop on the ground, put it back together, 2 pins, drop the magazines, and you're in operation. I've actually seen guys patrol and carry this thing. The whole package deal loaded is under 40 pounds. That's comparable to a machine gun, but look at the capability it gives you.
Definitely.
Excellent weapon system. 50 cal, multitude of ammos, everything from tracer to incendiary to armor piercing. And this is a game changer on the battlefield.
My personal favorite, the Rifleman, still listed as API, single made, comes individually stacked in the can. It's easily the most accurate 50 cal ammo I've ever run through it. Pet and explosive in it, does wonders on a little Bedouin pickup truck.
Speaking of the Rumpus round, what other shoulder-fired weapon is going to give you this range? Your AT4s, your Laws, your Carl Gustavs,
Definitely
your old
not.
90s, the 57s, the old 106s. You can take this thing, carry it into battle. Bedouin vehicles, a mile away, you can have them for lunch.
Now, not just Bedouin vehicles, but how about if we wanted to go, not necessarily hard targets, but expensive targets?
How about helicopters? How about sitting aircraft on the tarmac? How about sitting a mile away with this in a position perceived outside the security perimeter of an air base somewhere overseas, and I have those vehicles.
Outside the minefield.
They're outside the minefields, and I have those little aircraft, whether it be fixed or jet, and put me a couple rounds of that Rumpus round in each one. That's not only very devastating, but very cost effective. Very cost effective.
It's what it's designed for. Yes, anti-material rifle, but I'll tell you what, when it comes to pounding away at targets 2 kilometers away, you're just not going to find a better weapon. It's over in the Horn of Africa, and we had a SEAL platoon attached to us. They had their Macmillan single-shot 50 cals, and they had some match-grade ammo, and they would pull their bolt out, hook it on the face, put it in, and yes, they were shooting a much more accurate weapon. However, we put the target out there, and with this 10-round magazine, I'm able to thump Rifleman rounds as fast as I can pull the trigger. And by the end of our little demonstration, our little competition, they were nodding their heads saying, "You're right, we got to get us some Barretts."
Same Horn of Africa. You got aircraft flying around. At that time, you have the choice of your door guns or rockets. What do you got in between? When you have that little Toyota truck down there with a 14.5 ADA gun sitting in the back. So we'd physically mount these in the aircraft with straps, and we would effectively engage those vehicles, because that was what we had available to us.
Now, you've got time behind this in Somalia doing
Absolutely.
exactly just that. I'm not going to bust them out and tell them the story about the shell casing coming out of your gun and going up into the rotor blades. I'm not going to do that on
It wasn't
film.
rotor blades, it
Not
was
gonna
a
do
front
that.
windshield, and it was a Canadian aircraft. And, but anyway, we upped the sales of Toyota vehicles at the dealership there in Somalia for a while, because this was very devastating on the
Very
technical
much so.
vehicles.
Nice.
Love this weapon system. What you can do at day, we can do at night. There you go.
The first UNSs that came out, like first generation, they would not take the 50 cal recoil. It would tear them up. But these new generations of them, they can handle the recoil of 50 cal just fine.
The newer generations is part of the prerequisites for them to be able to capability to handle that recoil.
Now, back, showing my age too, again, back in the Horn of Africa, we didn't have decent night vision to run before that. So I ran a thermal sight, the old PAS 13 that was made for the Ma Deuce. And well, it didn't look too pretty at night, crystal clear. And with Rifleman rounds, you're actually seeing the little explosions. And on thermal, it's a beautiful thing. You find mammals, line up the crosshairs on it, and it's to me, it's just the most beautiful thing in the world. Rifles rounds going off inside of, even if it's a four-legged goat, it's still a beautiful
I'm
thing.
gonna tell you right now, on today's battlefield, there's nothing more resourceful than a USGI.
That it
How
is.
about no night vision capability with a spotter behind you and shooting nothing but tracers out of this gun and then walking them onto your target? Absolutely. You do what you got to do. You do what you got to do. And tracers also maybe set you a little fire down range.
That they will. That they will.
Absolutely.
All right, now Dave, this scope's not as sexy as a lot of the new scopes, like you're running on a PSR where they got the Tremor 2. As far as dialing in data on this, I heard you came up with a really, really sexy new way to do it with the reticle, and I want you to break it down for us because this is freaking ingenious.
Well, let's first talk about what you just talked about. This is a 4.5 by 14 mil-dot scope, second focal plane. Therefore, the reticle stays the same size and the target rises and shrinks as you go through the power. So they're not correspondent in size and all power.
Yes.
And it has a 1/4 inch click. We're talking a 50 cal gun that's going to go out there past a mile plus with 1/4 clicks. Come on.
You'd
The reason
be
that
spinning
is,
that thing all day long.
the reason is, then you're going to run out of traverse.
Yep.
The reason is, this would come with a little ballistic computer put out by Barrett, the manufacturer of the
bores.
gun. The bores, Barrett Optical Ranging System. But the Army, in their infinite wisdom, purchased the guns without it. So I was forced to kind of come up with a concept. So what we did was, I'll let you keep that one for your personal records. What I come up with is old school Battle Sight Zero.
Okay.
Looking at the mil-dot reticle, a total of 10 mils in there, plus with a little dialing capability, and Battlefield Zeros, and same gun, same scope, same mounting system as all guns, so it works across. So I zero the gun, and then I come up with the amount of clicks and everything it took to battle fight the zero. So I can walk up to any one of these standard issue guns with the standard scope and everything, bottom it all the way out, go up exactly 3.5 revolutions, go to my windage, go all the way to my left, come back exactly 3 revolutions. Easy to remember, 3.5 by 3. And that gives me my top mil dot in exactly a 500 meter zero. Then I use the remaining 9 mil dots as hold off. And the unique thing about the ammo in our inventory, from the Romphus to the standard M33 ball, they're all within 15 grains of each other and very, very similar
Trajectory
ballistics.
the same.
They're almost exactly. With the exception, only exception is the black tip 750 round, and extremely rare to get. And you got to be on the other side of the fence to see that stuff.
Definitely.
But now I'm able to take this gun, walk up, do my Battle Sight Zero, have a gun that's effective out to 1,250 meters.
Now, Dave, we know we want to shoot this thing way past 1,200 meters.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. What if I took this, indexed additional revolutions, and able to get me some additional data?
I like how you
And
think.
I go up 2 revolutions, that's a total of 30 minutes, but it lands on my zero again. So I added 2 minutes. So when I crank that up, 2 revolutions plus 2 minutes, it's 32 minutes. I see 2 indexed, and 2 to me tells the operator, you're on your second evolution, and now I can go out to a mile away.
All right, now you just listening to him talk real fast for the last 90 seconds about how to do that sounds complicated. Trust me, from the guy who's had his brain rattled around from this muzzle brake for hundreds and hundreds of rounds, that's very, very easy to do. And now you're able to reach all the way out to 1,500 meters. That's insane that we can do this. As simple as Dave's little cheat sheet that he dialed up and what you put on the gun. That's crazy. Now, you just make this up for us to use here, or have other people actually checked it and said, this really works, and have they adopted it?
I was at work a number of years ago, got a phone call presented with this problem. What facilitated me to go find a secure area and a secure phone to talk to these individuals that were over the pond. And they presented a series of problems to me. And I sat down with every ballistic program I had available to me, taking a good hard look at the system, coming up with several different tried and true ways, and going out on the range and physically doing it. This is what we come out with. It was so simplistic, it was easy, and it was very effective. And this has been used overseas many, many times and been adopted by several DoD entities as putting after their students as well.
Good enough for these schools, good enough for these units that are competing, because there are units competing using this system. This ain't Billy Bob making this stuff up to just use in his backyard. This is sound guidance, sound techniques that you can use to reach out there with your Barrett. Dave, what else? What are we missing on this thing?
Get one. You got to have one.
Definitely.
This is an overlooked weapon system. You can take this thing out under 40 pounds. You can run up to the roof, and you got anti-vehicle capability at your population control points, your checkpoints. this is a good system. Night vision capability, long range capability, ammo in the inventory, 10-round magazines. This is a very, very valuable weapon system on the current battlefield.
All right, now you got that bottomless checkbook. You can go out and buy these things all day long. You're not gonna hit nothing with them. What it takes is the knowledge, knowing all this, learning from subject matter experts like Dave. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is that tool that's gonna push you above all the rest of your peers. Knowledge is the best weapon. Dave, thanks, man.
I'm here for you. Here for you.